The expectations as we go into the afternoon would be of flight disruptions, looking at the pilots that have since downed tools. So here we're talking about SAA pilots that have since embarked on these demonstration downing tools on a wage dispute with the employer. We hear that the employer really is not moving on this wage offer of about 8%, while the workers are standing now on 15%. Really, when you look at it, you find them demonstrating outside, and they're saying that this is bound then to really push the employer to come back to the negotiating table, as most of them are saying now that they don't want to see themselves out there, as you know very well, that this is a peak season as we go into the festive season. I'm going to bring into the conversation now Sibusiso, who just give us a sense of what has been happening here. We know very well that it has been months of wage negotiations, and we saw also the employer coming through to say that at least they're starting to become profitable. But the workers, you're not happy with developments here. Maybe give us a sense of what has been happening here, and if indeed then you're stuck there on the 15% with the employer that has not come back.
All right, thank you, Katlego. So what we hear today is we're actually embarking on industrial action, subsequent to engagements with the company, where we went to the CCMA and we tried to resolve the matter under conciliation to a point where it was a deadlock, and then we were issued a certificate of non-resolution by the CCMA, effectively awarding us a strike certificate that we've actually unfortunately had to implement during over this period. And it wasn't intentional to be in December, but we're trying to get the company on the table, and we had to apply the strike certificate in order to get them to the table.
Where are you right now in terms of we saw you, starting there at 30%. Maybe give us a sense of, the figures, what informs the figures, and what have the workers really been going through that would really see you standing there on that 15%?
So the 30% is actually what, as the negotiating team, we came to an agreement of that would actually bring us back somewhat towards on par the salaries we used to earn in the previous, before the business rescue. So most of us here, a number of our colleagues, we've taken salary cuts of over 50%. So the 30% was us trying to get back to that figure, but we were aware that the company cannot afford a 30% increase to bring us in par. So the 15.7% salary increase demand that we placed with the table, it was conditional to the improvement of certain aspects of our working conditions and our conditions of employment. That, in essence, would have allowed us to renegotiate with the company on where to take steps and what is a reasonable salary offer that the company can table. But I do not want to get into detail with it too much, because we still have the potential to engage with the company negotiating around these figures.
Give us a sense of the impact of the strike action. We know very well that we're going into a peak season right now for you guys, and we're hearing that at least 141 of the 160 of the pilots have downed tools. So what does this mean for operations?
It's unfortunate that we had to embark on this industrial strike action, and we really are aware, and we plead with the public to understand our position as boys, and we actually deeply regret having to undergo this position, but this is the last resort that we had to push in order for us to have a meaningful discussion with the company. So at this stage, we're hoping that the company tries and gets us back into the table so we can engage on this further, cease the strike, or potentially suspend it until a later date, or even getting an agreement with the company that will put us back into those aircraft. We want to fly. We do not want to be out here. This is not our normal space, but allow us to give you what we've been meaning to address and look at those options. Tell us what you can afford so we can have an engagement, which is a bargaining forum that we want to use.
So which lines are likely to be affected in terms of the strike action? And do we know if right now you guys being here would mean that the flights have been downed or have been halted?
Unfortunately, it's going to be pretty much all the flights. We are aware that all the international flights will not be able to get off the ground. We are aware that most regional flights will not be able to get the ground, and we've just got word that the company is actually seeking to charter other airlines to assist in their operations, and there are restrictions to that, but I can't get into the detail. We are aware that the company will try and get operations as quickly as going, but that shouldn't be the case. If they had the time to sit with us and engage with us in an open and fair manner, discuss our demands, we would be back in those aircraft as soon as possible. So the impact is going to be quite substantial, and it wasn't our intention to do it over the festive period.
Sibusiso Nxumalo, thank you very much, sir, for your time, just giving us a sense of where they find themselves as the pilots. And you hear him saying that they are hopeful. Right now, they remain hopeful that the employer would at least in the afternoon come back to the negotiating table so that at least they'll see themselves back on duty and this strike action suspended. I'm Katlego Legodi for SABC News at SAA Airways Park in Kempton Park.